My name is Lu Yuan. 18 years ago, I was transmigrated into this dangerous world filled with terrifying beasts and supernatural powers. My family has already suffered greatly from these creatures. My father lost his life in an attack, and my mother lost an arm. In this world, strength is the only thing that guarantees safety and respect. Today was the most important day of my life, the awakening ceremony. I was worried that my ordinary genes would lead to a weak power, but as a transmigrator, I was waiting for my system to appear. Just as the ceremony began, a mechanical voice spoke in my head. My system had finally arrived, granting me an incredibly rare S-rank ice power and 100 evolution points. While I usually thought ice powers were for girls and preferred something like lightning, I wasn't going to complain about being an S-rank user. When it was my turn to step up to the awakening crystal, I was calm because I already knew my potential. As soon as I touched the stone, a brilliant icy blue light filled the hall. The air grew so cold that people began to sneeze, and suddenly, snow started falling from the sky. Even though it was June, an icy crown formed over my head, making me look majestic. The power was so intense that the awakening crystal actually exploded. The principal was so shocked and excited that he fainted and had to be taken away in an ambulance. My new system panel showed that I am now at the awakened level with high stats in spirit and vitality. Afterward, the school director, Mr. Lee, invited me to his office. He was clearly impressed and wanted to be the first to support my future as a rising star. I knew then that my life had changed forever. I was no longer just an ordinary student, but someone with the power to reach the very top. After shattering the awakening crystal, I stood in Director Lee's office and confirmed the truth. I had awakened an S-level ability called Ice Crown. The director was stunned because our province hadn't seen someone with this level of power in 2 years. He immediately became very helpful, offering to help me choose between the 4 top universities in the country. He specifically recommended Magic City and Deep City universities because both schools have 7th rank Ice Masters. The idea of learning from such a powerful expert made me realize how limitless my future could be. To show his support and invest in my potential, the director even gave me a wooden box containing a skill book and special pills. Since he also has ice powers but no longer trains, he wanted these resources to go to someone who could truly use them. I accepted his gift, knowing that in this world, having a powerful mentor and the right tools is everything. Before researching the schools, I asked to borrow his phone to call my mother. She has worked so hard to raise me alone after my father was killed by a beast, and I knew she was waiting for news. When I told her about my S-level awakening, she was overwhelmed with joy and promised to cook a special meal to celebrate. Once the director left to finish the ceremony, I was left alone in the office to use his computer. I felt a bit lost trying to find information about the best schools. I searched online, but everyone had different opinions about which university was the best. It felt just like my previous life, where people argued over which famous college was superior. However, I didn't care about dorm rooms or fancy buildings. My main goal was to find the best place to develop my ice powers, so I stayed focused on finding a school that would help me reach the highest rank possible. I didn't need to worry about choosing a major, as my S-level ice ability meant I would naturally join the ice department. Instead, I focused on my new system. It had given me 100 evolution points, which I learned could be used to level up and strengthen my skills directly, much like an online game. The system informed me that I could earn more points by defeating beasts. This information changed my perspective on choosing a university. I realized I needed a school with a tunnel to the underground world so I could hunt beasts and grow stronger. While many people find the underground world dangerous, my system gave me a special advantage that made me less worried. After comparing my options, I narrowed my choice down to Deep City Ability University. It met all my criteria. It had a 7th level Ice Master and a massive, futuristic campus of over 200,000 mu. I felt a surge of excitement, as I had missed the chance to experience college life in my previous world. Director Lee soon returned to the office with great news. The school was rewarding me with 500,000 Blue Star coins for my achievement. Even though he mentioned the school budget was tight, I found the amount very generous. He told me to go pack my things in the classroom since we were starting a 3-day break. When I arrived at my classroom, the atmosphere had completely changed. My teacher, usually very strict, was suddenly gentle and cheerful. My classmates surrounded me, full of admiration and questions about my S-level power. I stayed to chat and smile with them while I packed my small backpack. I decided to leave my old test papers behind for younger students to use. As I left, I promised to stay in touch, though I could hear some envious whispers behind me. Even the class monitor, Lin Xiangyu, seemed to be distancing herself, feeling that we now belonged to different worlds. I walked out of the school feeling ready for the next chapter of my journey. I was just leaving the classroom when Director Li found me, looking completely out of breath. He told me the admissions officers from the 4 top universities had arrived and were waiting in the school hall. Even our principal, who had just returned from the hospital after his fainting spell, was there to greet me with a massive smile. Walking into the hall felt intense. 4 powerful, 5th-level ability users were sitting there, ready to compete for me. It was strange to see such important people arguing over who would get to recruit me. They started making their offers, and the rewards were incredible. Some offered millions of coins, expensive equipment, and custom weapons. However, Ling Weiwei from Deep City Ability University offered something different. A guaranteed minimum of 300 credits every year. I quickly realized these credits were far more valuable than cash, since they were like a special currency for powerful users. Deep City also had a 7th-level ice master and organized regular expeditions into the underground world. One teacher tried to scare me by mentioning the dangerous beasts in those tunnels, hoping I'd choose a safer school, but they didn't know about my system. I need those beasts to get stronger. Without much hesitation, I chose Deep City Ability University. The recruiter seemed impressed by my determination. After the other teachers left, the principal looked relieved to finally have the pressure off. Ling Weiwei tried to have me scan her QR code to stay in touch, but I had to admit that our school doesn't allow us to have phones. It was a bit embarrassing, but she just laughed and wrote her number down on a piece of paper for me. I signed the special admission contract right there. I don't even have to take the entrance exams now. She told me that the official paperwork would be ready in 2 days and that I could even head to the university early if I wanted to. My path is finally clear, and my life as a high-level student is about to begin. Lu Yuan planned to head to Deep City Ability University as soon as the approval was complete. The sooner he entered the university and gained access to its resources, the faster he could grow. Every moment was precious and couldn't be wasted. After Ling Weiwei left, Lu Yuan didn't stay either. Carrying his small backpack, he quickly left the school. In this world, schools didn't have evening study sessions. Evenings were usually reserved for students to train on their own. About 10 minutes later, he arrived in front of a large building on his bicycle. At first glance, it stood out from the smaller houses around it, tall, grand, and full of modern, high-tech design. The automatic doors opened and closed constantly as crowds of people came and went. In front of the building, 5 large golden characters shone brightly. Combat Ability Hall. Lu Yuan knew that this Combat Ability Hall had branches all over the country. One reason was that its founder, Lin Heng, was a 9th-level expert. The other was that the hall welcomed anyone who awakened combat-related abilities, which made its base of members very large. It was similar to a chain store from his previous life. The Combat Ability Hall was the largest ability hall in the nation. Ranking second was the Flame Ability Hall. Although the number of people who awakened fire abilities was much smaller than those with combat abilities, its owner, Hu Mingho, was also a 9th-level expert, well known for his strength and reputation. Inside the ability halls, some services were free, while others required payment. Simple tests for blood and mental energy, or using a regular room, were free, though sometimes there was a line. Buying weapons or potions, taking lessons, or using special training rooms all required payment. After admiring the grand appearance of the Combat Ability Hall, Lu Yuan walked through the automatic doors and entered. The hall had 4 floors. The first floor was the reception area, the second was the free zone, the third was the paid zone, and the fourth was the office area. Each floor covered more than 10,000 square meters. Because the entire first floor was used for reception, even though the hall was crowded, Lu Yuan didn't have to wait long and easily reached the counter. "Hello, what service do you need?" The receptionist asked warmly, handing him a price list. "I'd like to book an E-level training room, please," Lu Yuan said after glancing at the list and thinking for a moment. He knew that the E-level training room was the most basic one in the hall. Since he had just awakened his ability, it was perfect for him. 1 hour costs 400 blue star coins. Even if you use less than an hour, it's charged as 1 hour, the receptionist reminded him, then handed him a room card with his information recorded. It wasn't a waste of money, you get what you pay for. His family wasn't well off, and before this, he could only practice in ordinary rooms. Now that 1.5 million blue star coins were about to arrive in his account, he naturally didn't want to be stingy with himself. The room card had a small virtual display that showed the room number, 303. This was the E-level training room that Lu Yuan had just booked. He swiped the card, and the door to room 303 opened quickly. Inside the training room, the air was filled with a higher concentration of energy, which could help improve training efficiency. After entering, Lu Yuan looked around. At the edge of the room stood an iron rack filled with various weapons, spears, sabers, swords, and more. Lu Yuan picked up a black spear from the rack and practiced a few basic moves. My movements are still a bit stiff, he muttered. But luckily, I have the system. It's time to use my evolution points. He opened the system panel and pressed the only button. Evolution points minus 100. Spear technique, beginner, spear technique, intermediate. As the points were consumed, countless memories of spear training flooded into his mind, as if he had practiced for years. When he came back to his senses, he realized his control over the black spear had improved greatly. So this is the power of the system? Not bad. I like it, Lu Yuan said quietly. For reference, skill mastery had 6 levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, master, supreme, and perfect. After raising his spear technique to the intermediate level, Lu Yuan lifted the spear again and struck several sharp, powerful moves. Nice, he said with satisfaction. Now, it was time to test his special ability. Ice Crown. As he spoke softly, a crown of ice appeared above his head, giving him a calm and noble aura. The energy within his body surged, and his eyes turned icy blue. Snowflakes swirled around him, yet he felt no cold, only a gentle warmth. Thin streams of frost spread from the black spear, showing that his energy had merged with the weapon. The spear's tip was soon completely covered in ice. In this state, Lu Yuan continued practicing his spear techniques for another half hour. I've only practiced for half an hour, and half of my inner energy is already gone. It seems that after just awakening my ability, the amount of energy in my body is still too low. Lu Yuan didn't worry too much about it. He opened the small wooden box that Director Li had given him. Inside were a few ordinary pills and a skill book. Ice Ring, D. Effect. After learning, you can form a ring of ice around your body. It causes slight damage to nearby enemies and increases your ice-type attack power. The first page of the skill book clearly showed the name and effect of the skill. A D-level skill book. Director Li is really generous. Lu Yuan raised an eyebrow. Normally, a D-level skill book of a common type would cost around 100,000 blue star coins. But ice-type skills were rare, so the price would be even higher. The energy-filled training room made Lu Yuan's mind sharper. After a brief sigh, he quickly sat down, opened the skill book, and began to study from the first page. He also took one of the pills to help him focus better. Time passed quickly. Although it was called a D-level skill book, it only had a few thin pages. Besides, Lu Yuan possessed the extremely rare S-level ability Crown of Ice and Snow, which gave him a natural talent for understanding ice-type skills. After about 20 minutes, Lu Yuan finished studying. He exhaled slowly, focused his mind, and brought up his status panel. Name, Lu Yuan, evolution points, 0, ability, Crown of Ice and Snow, S. Level, awakened, spirit, 120 Hz, vitality, 210 calories, skills, gun technique, intermediate, ice ring, D, beginner. Just as Lu Yuan expected, the skills section of his panel had changed. Ice ring now appeared on the list, meaning he could use evolution points to upgrade it. If he still had any evolution points left, he would have used them right away to raise Ice Ring from beginner to intermediate level. Ice Ring. After using the skill, 3 small ice shards floated around Lu Yuan. The area they covered was still quite small, just a little over 2 meters, only slightly longer than the dark spear in his hand. Lu Yuan could also feel that when the ice shards circled him, The energy inside his body became more active. As a diligent student, he never missed any key points taught in class. He knew that when his energy activity increased, his ice-type attacks would become stronger. However, he guessed that since this was only a D-level skill, the boost wouldn't be very large, probably around 5 to 8%. When he had a moment to rest, Lu Yuan instinctively looked up at the quartz clock on the ceiling of the training room. Because the dense energy in the room could damage electronic devices, people usually didn't bring their phones inside. The quartz clock served as a replacement, helping customers keep track of time. The training room charged by the hour, and even a few extra minutes would count as a full hour. Without the clock, if someone left just 1 minute late and had to pay for 2 hours instead of 1, they would definitely be upset. Over time, that kind of frustration could make customers switch to another training center, which wasn't good for business. But with the clock, customers could leave right on time, and even feel like they were getting a small advantage. By comparing the current time with when he entered, Lu Yuan realized he had been training for exactly 59 minutes. My training's about done. I should head out, he said to himself. He left the training room. Thank you for coming. Please visit again, the staff greeted him. After paying 400 Blue Star coins, Lu Yuan walked out of the combat training center. The automatic doors opened, and Lu Yuan stepped outside. Not far from the building was a small parking area where his bicycle was parked. As he walked closer, he suddenly noticed something surprising near his bike, a mouse. Wait, was that really an ordinary mouse? The mouse had square-shaped ears and bright blue eyes. It was clearly not an ordinary mouse. It could only be a beast. There's a beast. Lu Yuan's heart raced with excitement, his eyes wide open. This was a living source of evolution points. How could he let it go? He was just about to move forward to capture the square-eared mouse alive when, squeak, squeak, squeak. The mouse saw him coming and quickly darted into a nearby sewer. Actually, Lu Yuan could have used his special ability to release his inner energy from a distance and strike the mouse directly. The advantage of that method was speed. This kind of energy burst was a natural reaction of the body, much faster than using a skill. However, the mouse was right next to his bicycle, and since Lu Yuan had only recently awakened his power, he was still unfamiliar with controlling it. If he acted rashly, not only would his bike be destroyed, but the nearby electric scooters might also be damaged. So he decided not to use that method. After all, once he entered the underground world, there would be plenty of beasts like this one. He could easily make up for it later. There was no need to feel regret. Why had beasts started appearing in the real world? First, it was known that in the past, all beasts had come to Blue Star through passages from the underground world. But for some unknown reason, in recent years, some beasts had begun appearing suddenly in the real world without any warning. And the ones that appeared were usually mild creatures like the square-eared mouse, not truly dangerous ones. Normally, beasts were symbols of bloodlust and violence. When they saw humans, their first instinct was to treat them as food. But these suddenly appearing beasts were different. They didn't attack humans. Instead, they ran away. The official explanation called this phenomenon a projection of the underground world, supported by complex spatial theories that Lu Yuan couldn't understand. Still, he felt that the explanation didn't make sense, as if something was being hidden. Maybe once he entered Deep City Ability University and met stronger people, he would find the real answer. Lu Yuan shook his head slightly. He didn't dwell on it for long. Right now, he was too weak. Getting stronger was his only goal. After leaving the martial arts ability hall, Lu Yuan rode his bicycle back home. His mother, Fong Wan, hadn't returned from work yet, so the small rented apartment was quiet, with only Lu Yuan inside. With nothing else to do, he turned on the TV to watch the news. The ice-type martial saint, Yemo, sacrificed himself to stop the beast attack. Let us pay tribute to this hero. After 10 years, someone in the beautiful nation has reportedly awakened an SS-level ability. According to journalists, this news is likely true. The conflict between the Bear Nation and the Raven Nation is growing more intense, and signs of war are appearing. Could the beautiful nation be involved behind the scenes? This world is still far from peaceful. I have to become stronger. Lu Yuan sighed softly. After browsing the news, he went to his room and took out a sturdy wooden staff from the corner. It was his usual training weapon. Yes, Lu Yuan used the wooden staff as a spear. After all, a real spear that could resonate with one's ability would cost at least 6 figures. But his family's financial situation was difficult. Buying such a weapon would nearly empty all their savings. If he used his ability with an ordinary iron spear, the metal would quickly soften and bend, becoming no better than wood. Lu Yuan looked at the wooden staff with deep emotion. It had been with him for a long time. People say that once you have money, you forget your roots, and Lu Yuan was no exception. Once he received the 1.5 million Blue Star coins, he planned to buy a new spear from the ability hall. He especially liked the one he had seen on the rack in the testing room earlier. Lift/sweep. In his room, Lu Yuan practiced the spear techniques again and again, sweat soaking through his back. After a long while, he finally stopped, exhaled deeply, and looked at the clock on the wall. It was already 5:50 p.m. He knew his mother should be home in about 10 minutes. But 10 minutes passed, and there was still no sign of her. Knock, knock, knock. 20 minutes later, Lu Yuan, who was sitting in the living room, finally heard a knock at the door. He quickly ran over and opened it. His mother, Fong Wan, stood there with a warm smile, holding a large bag filled with vegetables and meat. Behind her was a middle-aged man. After Fong Wan entered the apartment, the man carried a long spear inside, then quietly left. Mom, this is... Lu Yuan looked at the weapon on the floor with a complicated expression. You awakened a rare ability, didn't you? This is a gift from me. Do you like it? Fong Wan smiled gently. I do, Lu Yuan nodded. He immediately recognized that the spear was the same type he had used earlier at the ability training hall. It seemed that mother and son truly understood each other. He had planned to buy one after receiving his payment, but now it looked like he didn't need to. Go do your homework for a while. I'll call you when dinner's ready. Fong Wan carried the groceries toward the kitchen, but Lu Yuan stopped her. Mom, you forgot. I was specially admitted to the university. I don't even need to take the entrance exam. What homework could I have? All right. I'm just used to saying that, Fong Wan said with an embarrassed laugh before heading into the kitchen. Lu Yuan followed her. He couldn't cook, but he could at least help wash the vegetables. Time passed in a warm and peaceful atmosphere as dish after dish was placed on the table. Sweet and sour ribs, braised shrimp, fish head with chili. They weren't difficult dishes, but they were all his favorites. Do you like it? Eat more if you do. Fong Wan smiled happily as she watched her son eat heartily. Seeing him eat filled her with joy. After the intense training at the ability hall and several hours of practicing with the spear at home, Lu Yuan had used up a lot of energy. He ended up eating 5 bowls of rice in one meal. When he finally felt full, he rubbed his stomach with satisfaction. Xiao Yuan, which university gave you the special admission? Fong Wan asked once she saw that he had finished eating. Shincheng University of Supernatural Abilities in Guangdong Province, Lu Yuan said casually. Guangdong Province, huh? That's a really nice place. Fong Wan replied with a warm smile. By the way, Mom, I got a total of 1.5 million Blue Star coins as rewards from high school and college. I'll buy you some cosmetics or a new bag, okay? Lu Yuan's mother, Fong Wan, had once been the school beauty. No wonder her son turned out so handsome. But now, under the weight of life's pressures, her beauty had faded, and her face looked more tired than before. Hearing her son speak so proudly, Fong Wan couldn't hide her happiness. You should keep that money for yourself. I heard being a supernatural student costs a lot. Besides, those things are for young girls. I don't need them, she said, waving her hand to refuse his offer. That night, Lu Yuan lay on his bed watching videos. Suddenly, he received a message on QChat. He opened it and saw it was from his childhood friend, Li Ming. Li Ming had sent him a video, along with a message. Wow, your Shincheng University of Supernatural Abilities has such a beautiful senior. Check the video at 1 minute 18 seconds. Lu Yuan's heart skipped a beat. He knew Li Ming well. Though his looks were average, he had very high standards. If Li Ming said someone was beautiful, then she must be truly stunning. Curious, Lu Yuan opened the video. It was a showcase of all the battle teams at Shincheng University of Supernatural Abilities. He dragged the progress bar to 1 minute 18 seconds. A tall girl instantly caught his attention. She had delicate features, a straight nose, and skin as fair as snow. Her long silver hair flowed down to her waist, smooth and shiny. A small beauty mark near her eye added a touch of charm to her look. Not only was she beautiful, but her figure was also graceful. Even though she wore loose clothes, they somehow looked perfectly fitted on her. In the comments, many people were expressing their admiration for the senior, jokingly asking if the university could lower its admission score. After just a quick glance, Lu Yuan closed the video. Beauty could be pleasant to look at once in a while, but he knew not to get lost in it. 2 days passed quietly. During this time, Lu Yuan didn't waste a moment. Instead, he practiced his shooting skills even harder. Soon, the day of his departure arrived. Xiaoyuan, make sure to take good care of yourself at school. Don't worry about things at home. Fang Wan said reluctantly as she sent Lu Yuan off at the Fengyang City high-speed rail station. Don't worry, I will. After saying that, Lu Yuan turned and walked into the station. Waiting to board felt endless. He kept glancing up at the large display screen as the minutes slowly passed. Finally, an announcement came. Attention, passengers. The G888 train from Tianyuan Station to Deep City is now ready for boarding. Please bring your belongings and proceed to Gate 2 for ticket inspection. Lu Yuan quickly pulled his luggage and headed to Gate 2. Ticket check, waiting, boarding, everything went smoothly. Once on the train, Lu Yuan soon found his seat. Across the aisle, 2 girls sat together, while the seat beside them was empty. Lu Yuan's seat was by the window, next to the 2 girls. Excuse me, could you please let me through? My seat is inside, Lu Yuan said politely. Wow, he's so handsome. One of the girls exclaimed, clearly smitten. Sorry, my friend isn't feeling well and gets distracted easily, the other girl said with an awkward smile, pulling her friend aside to make room. Half a minute later, a boy with neatly parted hair sat down across from them. Soon after, a small blue hamster climbed onto the boy's shoulder. The little creature was clearly not an ordinary hamster. It was a companion beast belonging to an ability user. Squeak, squeak. The tiny hamster moved its mouth, looking incredibly cute. Companion beasts were special creatures. Unlike wild, violent beasts, they formed a bond with ability users through a unique contract. It wasn't easy to create a companion beast. First, one had to use a special ball, similar to a pokeball in games, to capture a fierce beast. Then, through a special device, the ball containing the beast would be turned into an egg. Finally, one had to wait for the egg to hatch. Of course, it was also possible to find a beast's egg directly and soak it in a special potion. However, beast nests were usually well hidden and rarely discovered by humans. That was why companion beasts were extremely valuable on the market. Even a first-level one was expensive. So, when the little hamster appeared, it immediately caught the attention of the 2 girls, as well as Lu Yuan. One day, I'll have my own top-level companion beast. Lu Yuan thought quietly. Seeing everyone's eyes on him, Wang Zheng, the boy sitting nearby, smiled proudly. Showing off like this felt pretty good. Its name is Little Fur. It's my companion beast, Wang Zheng said cheerfully. A companion beast? That must be really expensive. So cute. Can I touch it? The 2 girls' eyes sparkled with excitement. As girls, they naturally couldn't resist something so adorable. Lu Yuan, however, looked away after a few glances. He preferred mighty creatures like dragons and phoenixes soaring in the sky, majestic and powerful. A small hamster like this didn't have much fighting ability. It mainly served as a companion, offering emotional comfort. Lu Yuan simply wasn't interested. Not expensive, not at all, Wang Zheng said, waving his hand. Then he commanded, go. The little hamster obeyed, climbed down from Wang Zheng, and walked up to the 2 girls, rubbing its soft furry cheeks against their fingers affectionately. Wow! The girls' eyes lit up even more. The adorable hamster completely melted their hearts. But when Wang Zheng noticed that the girls were focused on his companion beast instead of him, he started to feel a bit unhappy. He quickly called the hamster back and began boasting about how amazing it was. At first, the 2 girls seemed quite interested. However, every time they asked if the little hamster could come over, Wang Zheng changed the subject. After all, he wanted both girls to focus on him. But his behavior gradually made the 2 girls lose patience. Wang Zheng, still talking excitedly, was completely unaware of this. By the time he realized it, one of the girls had already lowered her head and was playing on her phone. So handsome, so handsome. The other girl was also on her phone, occasionally glancing at the boy by the window with a faint smile on her lips. Realizing he had been talking to himself, Wang Zheng felt extremely awkward. He was the son of a family that had received a large payout from a housing demolition project. Although he now had money, his awkward personality hadn't changed. Feeling embarrassed, he stayed silent for a while before trying to start a new topic. Did you know that this year, a student from Jiangnan province awakened an S-level ice ability? Wang Zheng asked. The high-speed train had departed from Tianyuan City in Jiangnan province, so Wang Zheng assumed the two girls were probably from the same area. I think I saw a short video about that. One of the girls replied casually. To tell you the truth, that S-level student is actually my cousin, Wang Zheng said proudly. Really? To be honest, their first reaction was disbelief. S-level? Ice ability? Could he be talking about himself? At that moment, Lu Yuan took a bottle of cola from his backpack. With a light squeeze, energy flowed through his arm into the can. In an instant, the cola turned icy cold, making it taste even better. Lu Yuan drank his cola calmly, watching the scene unfold. It's true, Wang Zheng insisted, nodding seriously. Since the person in question wasn't there, he could brag as much as he wanted. There was no way that person could actually be nearby, right? But Wang Zheng's act was too exaggerated. The two girls still didn't believe him and even felt a bit annoyed. I'd rather believe this guy knows the S-level student than believe that person is your cousin. The girl who kept glancing at Lu Yuan pointed at him, who was watching the scene with amusement, and said, Heh, if he really knows them, I'll be amazed. Hearing that, Wang Zheng panicked on the spot. 3 question marks seemed to float above Lu Yuan's head. Wait, seriously? Why are you guessing so accurately? Don't you know fortune tellers always get into trouble? And that guy over there, you're already acting so eager. What a curious one you are. Excuse me, do you know the student who awakened the S-rank ability? The girl looked at Lu Yuan seriously, her eyes full of expectation. I don't. But Lu Yuan shook his head slightly, then smiled calmly. But what? All 3 of them looked at him. I know the student who awakened the S-rank ice ability, not just an S-rank one. As he spoke, a small crystal of ice appeared on his fingertip. At the same time, he released a faint trace of his energy. Even though it was only a little, they could still sense how powerful it was. Of course, he kept the range limited to just the few of them. The moment they felt Lu Yuan's power, their eyes widened. It was as if they had fallen into an icy cave. The pressure was so strong they could hardly breathe. Seeing their reaction, Lu Yuan withdrew his energy. The 2 girls looked at him in surprise and delight. They hadn't expected that the handsome guy sitting beside them had actually awakened such a powerful S-rank ability. It felt like something straight out of a novel coming to life. What incredible luck! Wang Zheng's face turned red with embarrassment. He hadn't expected that his casual bragging would happen right in front of the real deal. Before anyone could say more, the train's announcement sounded. Attention passengers, we are about to arrive at Deep City Station. Please gather your belongings and wait by the doors if you are getting off. So soon? What a pity, it ended too quickly. The 2 girls looked disappointed, especially the one who had been glancing at Lu Yuan. Wang Zheng, on the other hand, let out a sigh of relief. After what happened, he felt uneasy and uncomfortable, completely embarrassed. Now that things had finally settled down, it was a kind of relief for him. In fact, after Lu Yuan revealed his S-level ability, no one paid attention to him anymore. The high-speed train slowly stopped at Deep City Station, and a large crowd of passengers got off. Lu Yuan was among them. As the automatic doors opened, a unique scent filled the air, the scent that belonged only to a big city. The station's dome was grand and magnificent, with huge steel pillars crossing each other. Sunlight poured evenly through the glass walls. In the distance, tall buildings reached into the clouds like giant beasts of steel, creating a powerful visual impact. As he walked out, various advertisements flashed across the large display screens above. Huiran brand health tonic, for tiredness and sore muscles. Regain your energy and stay strong. Fall in love with colors, enjoy the rainbow. Wind speed motors, drive the world forward. Gaobu machinery, wherever you work, we make it easier. Most of these were the same ads often seen on TV. There were also some luxury brand ads, though Lu Yuan didn't know much about those. By the way, there was even an ad for tomato novels on the train across the platform. A girl nearby kept glancing at Lu Yuan, then shook her head slightly, her eyes full of reluctance. She knew that since he was a newly awakened S-level ability user and got off at Deep City Station, he must be a special recruit for Deep City Ability University. As for herself, she was just an ordinary student at another ability university in the same city, not even in the same area. From now on, their paths would never cross again. Meanwhile, earlier, Ling Weiwei had sent a message saying that when Lu Yuan arrived in Deep City, she would personally pick him up and take him to the university. But unexpected things happened. She suddenly had something important to deal with, so she had to post a task at the school's mission center instead. The moment the task was posted, it was quickly accepted by a senior student. In the end, Ling Weiwei still sent Lu Yuan an apology. Lu Yuan, of course, understood. It was normal to have something important come up at the last minute. Besides, she had already arranged for another senior student to pick him up, which was more than enough. Look, someone up ahead is holding a flag. It's the students from Deep City Ability University here to pick people up. Come to think of it, today really is the day for the special admissions students to arrive. I'm so jealous. At a top ability university like that, by the time they graduate after 4 years, they'll at least reach the 3rd level. The crowd began to talk excitedly, their eyes full of admiration. As expected of Deep City Ability University, it's no wonder everyone's talking about it. Lu Yuan thought to himself as he listened to the chatter. As soon as he stepped out of the station, he clearly saw a calm-looking young man holding a flag with the words Deep City Ability University written on it. The flag fluttered gently in the wind. It seemed that this young man was the senior who had come to pick him up. Lu Yuan pulled his luggage and quickly walked toward him. The senior also noticed Lu Yuan in the crowd. He didn't just stand there waiting. Instead, he carried the flag and walked toward Lu Yuan. You must be Lu Yuan, right? Hello, I'm Jiang Yin. Come with me, I'll take you to Deep City University, Jiang Yin said with a friendly smile. Lu Yuan nodded. Senior, please wait a moment. I need to pick up my weapon first. Weapons like Lu Yuan's spear were sharp and dangerous, so for safety reasons, they couldn't be brought onto the high-speed train and had to be shipped separately. After retrieving his spear, Lu Yuan followed Jiang Yin to his car. When he saw the car, Lu Yuan was a little surprised. So the saying was true, people aren't always what they seem. He hadn't expected Senior Zhang's car to be a Maybach worth over 2 million Blue Star coins. When you start hunting beasts in the underground world, you'll realize this isn't much. Even one beast can earn you thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of Blue Star coins. Save up a bit, and you can afford one too, Jiang Yin said with a light smile, noticing Lu Yuan's expression. So much. Lu Yuan couldn't help but gasp. After all, that was more than what an ordinary person could earn in a month. And to think, just one beast could bring in that much. High risk, high reward. Don't be fooled by the many people making money. Many also end up dead, Jiang Yin said seriously. Then he looked at Lu Yuan carefully and added, But, junior brother Lu, you must not go into the underground world to hunt fierce beasts for money right now. If you really want to go, at least find a team with experienced members. Lu Yuan quickly asked, why? He really wanted to go to the underground world. One reason was to make money, and another was to gain evolution points by hunting fierce beasts, which would help him become stronger. In simple terms, it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The underground world is not like the human world. It's a place where fierce beasts live, a paradise for them. It's full of danger, and fierce beasts might suddenly appear and attack you from nowhere. Finding an experienced team is very important. Plus, you can also take on school missions to earn credits. Our credits are different from those at liberal arts colleges. They are like a currency within the school. By completing simple tasks, you can earn enough credits for training and food. For example, I can take you to school. That's also a task, huh? So, it's better to wait until you officially reach the 1st level before entering the underground world, Jiang Yin explained. Lu Yuan listened, but he didn't fully understand. There's a saying, if you don't enter the tiger's den, how can you catch the tiger? If he doesn't hunt fierce beasts in the underground world, how will he get evolution points? He knew that while a mentor's guidance could speed up reaching the 1st level, it still took time. Speeding up doesn't mean skipping the time altogether. In the end, it's still not as fast as leveling up on his own. To win the upcoming freshman competition, he absolutely couldn't take the usual path. Of course, finding a team was still necessary, since he was just a newcomer. Junior brother Lu, it's getting late. Let's go to school quickly. Suddenly, Jiang Yin returned to his usual calm expression. Okay. Lu Yuan nodded, opened the door handle of the Maybach, and sat inside. Honestly, this was Lu Yuan's first time riding in such a luxurious car, and he felt a little excited. During the trip, he kept looking out the window. The modern style of the buildings was impressive, something he couldn't see in his hometown. After a while, the Maybach slowly stopped. They got out of the car. This is the underground parking lot next to Deep City Superpower University. After getting out, Lu Yuan noticed that most of the cars parked inside were luxury cars worth millions. Although Lu Yuan didn't recognize the specific brands, the luxury feel of these cars was obvious to everyone. No matter what, it couldn't be hidden. Each car, if driven in his hometown, would definitely attract a lot of attention. Wow, are you stunned? Jiang Yin smiled when he saw Lu Yuan's expression, then said, It's okay, you'll see even more impressive things later. Even more impressive? Jiang Yan's words made Lu Yuan wonder silently, but he didn't say anything. Full of curiosity, Lu Yuan followed Jiang Yin out of the underground parking lot. They turned right and arrived at the gate of Deep City Superpower University. Suddenly, a huge gate came into view. It was about 100 meters tall and several dozen meters wide. The gate was built with many different colored and high-quality alloys, making it look very grand. Just looking at it made Lu Yuan feel a surge of excitement in his chest. At the top of the gate, there was a large, majestic inscription that read, Deep City Superpower University. The size of the gate made Lu Yuan, who is 1.85 meters tall, feel very small for the first time. He was surprised by the gate, and he was stunned for a moment. People came and went at the gate. Students were chatting and laughing, full of youthful energy. Most of them just glanced at Lu Yuan briefly before looking away. Seeing his face, it was probably normal for new students to be amazed by the school gate. After all, who wasn't like that a few years ago? See? I told you there would be something even more impressive later. When I first came to school a few years ago, I was just like you. Jiang Yin chuckled. Lu Yuan collected his thoughts, gave a shy smile, and said nothing. Let's go. I need to take you to register early, or the delicious food in the cafeteria will be sold out. Jiang Yin waved his hand, signaling Lu Yuan to follow. Lu Yuan followed Jiang Yin into Deep City Superpower University. As soon as Lu Yuan entered the city of the extraordinary university, his eyes couldn't help but look into the distance. Sizzle, sizzle, splash, splash. The first thing that caught his eye was a huge fountain. The water in the fountain was clear and pure, as if just looking at it could wash away the heat in his heart. Next to the fountain, many young couples sat on benches, smiling and chatting happily. Farther away, most of the buildings were tall, giving a grand and impressive feeling. Click. Lu Yuan took out his phone and took a photo, then sent it to his high school class group. By the way, this class group was just for students to chat and play games. There were no teachers. Unexpectedly, as soon as he sent the picture, a few classmates responded with surprised comments within seconds. These people are still playing on their phones during class. Lu Yuan shook his head slightly. As they walked, the surprised voices of students around them changed Lu Yuan's focus. He noticed that everyone's eyes were gathering in one direction. So, Lu Yuan's gaze naturally followed. Coming toward them was a team. Leading the team was a tall, graceful girl. She had delicate features, fair skin, a cold expression, and long silver hair flowing behind her. Her battle suit on her chest had endured more than it should, outlining a full, curved shape. A beauty mark near her eye added a touch of maturity beyond her age. Right now, she was walking into the school with long, elegant strides. She radiated an aura of blood and killing intent. A fierce energy spread around her. Behind her, she carried a long spear, with dried blood faintly visible on it. Lu Yuan quickly compared and found that her spear was even larger than his own. Next to her, a silver wolf was walking obediently and slowly. It looked fierce and dangerous, but now it was surprisingly well-behaved, creating a strong contrast. He could see faint lightning arcs flickering on the wolf's fur. Behind her, 4 more team members followed. Clearly, this team had just come back from a brutal battle in another world. It's Sister Jiang. The Silver Wolf team has returned from hunting fierce beasts. Sister Jiang is still so beautiful. I love her, everyone exclaimed in surprise. Seeing this, Lu Yuan's gaze sharpened. Isn't she the beautiful woman from the video Li Ming shared a few days ago? How is it? Are you still stunned? Jiang Yin teased. No, Lu Yuan shook his head and asked. Our school has an underground world passage, so why does the Silver Wolf team go outside to hunt fierce beasts in the underground world? He only looked a little longer, not enough to be stunned. Jiang Yin explained as they walked. Our school's underground world passage is controlled by our school, making it easier for students to train. The fierce beasts inside are only at level 3 at most. But the Silver Wolf team is the top team in our school, capable of fighting level 4 fierce beasts. To truly train well, they have to go outside to the underground world. Level 4 fierce beasts. Lu Yuan lowered his head and thought quietly. For him now, that is still too far away. His main task right now is to advance from an awakener to a level 1 psychic. All right, the student registration office is ahead. After a while, Jiang Yin stopped and pointed to a building not far away. I didn't expect there to be a special building even for student registration. Lu Yuan raised an eyebrow, a bit surprised. Now he begins to understand why Deep City Psychic University covers over 200,000 acres. Most ordinary universities are only a few thousand acres at most, some even less than 1,000, only a few hundred acres. Then, the two entered the student registration office. Inside, it was quite empty because the college entrance exams hadn't started yet, and only special admissions students were registering. Special admissions students are rare, usually only a few each year, so it's not easy to meet one. The registration office was quiet. As soon as they entered, the staff warmly greeted them. The staff said enthusiastically, "You must be the new special admissions student. Please show your ID." Lu Yuan nodded, took out his ID from his pocket, and handed it to the staff. After placing the ID card into the scanner, the machine made a mechanical sound. Beep. Scan successful. Confirming identity as a new student of Class 52. Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan, welcome to Deep City Abilities University. The receptionist smiled and nodded, handing over the student ID, school badge, dorm key, and uniform. She added, all the dorms at Deep City are double rooms. The bedding and furniture are all arranged and brand new. You can move in directly, thank you, Lu Yuan replied. Jiang Yin, standing nearby, added, this uniform is for the opening ceremony. You can wear it or not during regular days. No need to thank me. The receptionist waved her hand, signaling that Lu Yuan could leave. Honestly, registering as a special student is really quick. But thinking about it carefully, it makes sense. Not many students have S-level or higher abilities, and with the 4 famous schools splitting students, only a few special students enroll at Deep City Abilities University each year. Oh, and you might be surprised again later, Jiang Yin said with a mischievous smile, as if he remembered something fun. What else is waiting for me? Lu Yuan wondered silently, shaking his head slightly. He guessed it might be because the dorms are very nice, which made him extra surprised. The school environment is especially beautiful. Surrounded by lush green plants, the air is fresh, and the sunlight is lovely. It's summer now. Many girls are wearing short skirts, showing their long, fair legs, walking and chatting happily along the school paths. It's a unique kind of beauty. Following Jiang Yin, Lu Yuan arrived at the dorm area. We've reached the dorms. Jiang Yin stopped and pointed to a large area of villas ahead. He pointed, and Lu Yuan looked in the direction. What caught his eye was a large row of 2-story villas. They weren't very big, but they were very elegant. Outside the villas was a small stone-paved path, lined with green plants and flower beds. Some students even grew various flowers in the flower beds, blooming beautifully and vividly. There was a gentle sound of flowing water, and some villas had small bridges built over streams, adding a poetic touch. The atmosphere was immediately intense. Standing in front of the villa, Lu Yuan was stunned right on the spot. He had expected his living conditions to be good, but he never imagined they would be this amazing. Even his senior, Jiang Yin, had warned him in advance, but it still didn't prepare him fully. In the end, he realized he still hadn't seen enough of the world. So what do you think? I told you you'd be surprised again. Jiang Yin showed a faint smile. Indeed, Lu Yuan nodded. Inside, he felt no embarrassment, only great happiness. Living in such a place was really wonderful. By the way, Lu Jr., since I brought you to the dorm area, I should head out now. The cafeteria doesn't have much good food anyway. Jiang Yin made a move to leave. Okay, goodbye, Senior Jiang. Lu Yuan said farewell. This senior was quite friendly, never making him feel pressured. Lu Yuan felt very comfortable around him. Oh, and Lu Jr. You seem to be the only Ice Element special recruit at our school in recent years. I remember we have a 7th rank Ice Master here. You might want to visit him sometime. Finally, Jiang Yin turned back and gave a reminder. Lu Yuan shared the same idea. One reason he chose to study at Deep City Abilities University was because it had a 7th rank Ice Master teaching there. Based on the door number on the key given by the welcoming teacher, Lu Yuan quickly found his dorm. At the same time, a beautiful figure across the hall suddenly caught his eye. Her features were delicate, her eyes like autumn water, clear and reflective, with fair skin and a hint of pink, her thin lips like blooming petals, vibrant and tempting. Her smooth black hair was high with a red ribbon. She wore a simple t-shirt that couldn't hide her proud figure. Her thighs beneath a black skirt were round and long, with no excess fat, making it hard to look away. By the way, a small light blue dragon was resting on her shoulder, likely her companion beast. Compared to the hamster I saw earlier on the high-speed train, this light blue little dragon is not only more powerful, but also belongs to a much higher race. This also shows that the girl's family background must be very rich, or she wouldn't have such a companion beast. Seeing the suitcase next to the girl, Lu Yuan knew she was also a new student like himself. Who would have thought there are so few special admissions, and they can be so stunning? After admiring her for a moment, Lu Yuan looked away. He then used his key to open his dorm door and pulled his suitcase inside. At the dormitory entrance opposite, a new student who had just arrived also noticed the boys' dorm. He has sharp eyebrows, bright eyes, a high nose, a defined jawline, tall stature, and gives off a very comfortable feeling. Of course, this new student noticed more than just that. Her name is Xia Qingyin. She has awakened an S-rank grass-type supernatural ability, Nature's Grace, giving her some sensing ability. With her power, Xia Qingyin can feel that the boy's room is filled with a cold, icy aura. In other words, his awakened ability is ice-type. Master, I'm so sleepy. The cute voice of a deep-sea magic dragon hatchling sounded in her mind as it rested on Xia Qingyin's shoulder. After forming a contract with a companion beast, both can communicate telepathically without words. Usually, a supernatural ability user can only contract one companion beast at a time, and each beast can only be contracted by one user. Of course, as the owner, the supernatural ability user can break the contract at any time and form a new one. The deep-sea magic dragon is a very rare companion beast, and it can grow to level 7. Her family chose a water-type companion beast for her because her grass-type ability is especially vulnerable to fire-type powers, which are quite common among awakened element users. Having a water-type companion beast helps her absorb damage and supports her in attacking. Now, the problem is that while the fire-type issue has been solved, there are other types that can also resist grass types. Ice-type, although fewer people have awakened it, also counters grass types, but not as clearly as fire. Surprisingly, there is an awakened ice-type student. It looks like they will be a tough opponent in the upcoming new student competition. Xia Qingyin's eyes sharpened, her lips moved slightly, and she whispered softly, "All right, I will go in now." After whispering, Xia Qingyin communicated with her companion beast, the deep-water demon dragon cub. Then, she opened her dorm door and went inside. Lu Yuan entered his dorm. Inside, after opening the double-layer villa door, the first thing that caught his eye was a large living room. The floor was spotless, shining brightly. There was an elegant marble coffee table, soft leather sofa, and a sparkling crystal chandelier. Altogether, they created a warm and cozy atmosphere. Lu Yuan nodded, feeling very satisfied with the accommodation conditions at the Strange Ability University in Deep City. "Hello, I am your dormitory smart assistant, Xiaoya. If you need anything, just call my name anytime inside the villa." Suddenly, a sweet but slightly mechanical voice sounded in his ear. "Does it also have a smart management assistant?" Lu Yuan was momentarily surprised, then tentatively said, "Help me turn on the air conditioner." The air conditioner allowed Lu Yuan to avoid relying solely on his abilities, keeping his body temperature comfortable. Ding! The air conditioner is now on. A soft humming sound from the air conditioner quickly followed, and cool air began to. Not bad, quite smart. The air conditioner's airflow is also strong. Lu Yuan's gaze shifted to the side and discovered that the villa actually had a kitchen. Although he was not very good at cooking, often making dark dishes at home, having a kitchen was still a good thing. His eyes moved further away, and at the edge of the living room, there was a wooden spiral staircase leading to the second floor of the villa. The first floor was the common living room and kitchen. So, the second floor of the villa was probably just for the two of them, right? With anticipation, Lu Yuan took the spiral staircase up to the second floor of the villa. On the second floor of the villa, there are 6 small rooms, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with wash basins, and 2 toilets. The 6 small rooms are divided evenly from the staircase exit, which is at the center of all the rooms. This shows that each person has 3 rooms. Not only can they shower at the same time, but there is also no crowding when using the toilets. Lu Yuan really appreciates this thoughtful design. Since I arrived first, I get to choose first. In the end, Lu Yuan chose the 3 rooms on the right. He walked to his bedroom and first scanned his fingerprint. Lu Yuan is a person who values privacy, so he takes necessary precautions. After scanning his fingerprint, he pulled his suitcase inside. The bedroom is spacious, but also feels a bit empty. It has a soft, comfortable bed, a brand new wardrobe, a small table, and a floor lamp. Even with all these things, Lu Yuan still feels it's somewhat empty. This just shows how large the bedroom really is. Moreover, inside the bedroom, there is a glass door that can be opened. Through the glass, you can see a huge balcony. Lu Yuan opened the glass door and stepped outside. Who with his eyes closed, he enjoyed the gentle breeze on the balcony. The lighting and ventilation are both excellent. Truly a top university design, Lu Yuan thought to himself and gave a big thumbs up for the dormitory conditions. Ding ding ding, just then, Lu Yuan's phone rang. He quickly answered and found it was Ling Weiwei calling. Hello, Lu Yuan. Have you arrived at the school yet? Ling Weiwei's voice came through the phone. Yes, I've already reached the dorm area. The senior Jiang Yin who came to pick me up is very friendly. Lu Yuan nodded and also praised Jiang Yin. His words were meant to show that Jiang Yin did a good job completing the task Weiwei posted at the task center. Oh, I see. Ling Weiwei paused for a moment, then said, as a new student, if you don't understand something, you can ask on the campus forum. Of course, you can also ask me directly. Ling Weiwei's tone was lively, which was largely because she was very young. Campus forum? Where is that? Lu Yuan asked with some confusion. Ling Weiwei was surprised. Hey, didn't the senior who came to pick you up tell you about it? Senior Jiang, you didn't tell me. I can't blame you for that. Lu Yuan was slightly stunned and thought silently. There was a brief silence on the phone, which told Ling Weiwei that Jiang Yin indeed didn't tell Lu Yuan about the campus forum. He probably forgot. So, Ling Weiwei explained. The campus forum is a platform where students at Deep University can communicate. You can post questions or share ideas, and senior students who are free will answer you. At the same time, Ling Weiwei sent Lu Yuan a link. It was a download link for an app. Ling Weiwei said, "This is our Deep University's special app. It has many features, like monthly potion collection, cafeteria food delivery, dorm furniture repair, and more. The campus forum I mentioned is just one part of it. Impressive, a top-tier special abilities university. They even have such a convenient app." Lu Yuan's heart fluttered slightly. He clicked on the link Ling Weiwei sent and downloaded the app. The app is called Heart at Deep University, which sounds a bit romantic. The internet in the dorm was very fast. In less than 2 seconds, Heart at Deep University was downloaded. Have you finished installing the app? Ling Weiwei asked. After receiving Lu Yuan's confirmation, before hanging up, Ling Weiwei finally said, "Welcome to Deep City Special Abilities University. Enjoy your campus life." Yes, Lu Yuan replied with a slight smile. Meanwhile, at the third cafeteria of Deep City Special Abilities University. "What would you like to eat, student?" the friendly window lady asked. "Auntie, I don't want to eat with classmates. Just give me a honey crispy roast chicken." Jiang Yin shook his head and pointed to the honey crispy roast chicken on the side, saying. After saying this, Jiang Yin sneezed several times in a row. Could someone be thinking of me? He rubbed his nose and thought to himself quietly. After downloading the app, Heart at Deep University, Lu Yuan opened it with a mix of excitement and curiosity. First, there was a login page. In the lower left corner of the login page, there was a small line of text. Not logged in yet? Register now. Seeing this, Lu Yuan clicked on the small text. The registration page popped up immediately. Registering was simple. Just enter your ID number and student number, then confirm your password. His student number was on his student ID card. Lu Yuan entered it and used his most common password. Next, he completed the familiar human verification. After passing, Lu Yuan officially entered the app. As Ling Weiwei had said, the app was divided into many sections: monthly medicine collection, cafeteria delivery, dormitory furniture repair. All could be seen inside. At the top, there was a search box to help students find things easily. Lu Yuan typed forum and clicked confirm. The page instantly changed. Only one module appeared, clearly labeled as the campus forum. Lu Yuan clicked in. Several posts immediately appeared before him. Guide for new students in level 52. Pinned. Has anyone been to the new barbecue restaurant on campus? Wow. The young lady of the Summer family seems to have been specially recruited to Deep University. The first post had 2 golden characters behind it. Pinned. It was probably placed there so new students could see it right away. Not bad. Quite thoughtful. Lu Yuan chuckled and opened that post. After some time, Lu Yuan finally understood some important things to note. First, the school has limited mentors. Each mentor can only take one student, and usually, mentors choose students themselves. This refers to students who receive special attention. Therefore, standing out in the new student competition became key to being chosen by a mentor. The post specifically mentioned that students can visit their preferred mentors early to increase the chances of being selected by them. Lu Yuan agreed with this idea, as he was here to meet the 7th rank Ice Element Master at Deep City Superpower University. Next, there was the freshman competition. By the way, the regular college entrance exam is in July, followed by a month of summer vacation. Freshmen officially start school in August. This happens almost 2 months after all new students have enrolled. The school organizes a big competition for all freshmen, including special admission students. The results of this competition determine how many credits students receive each month and what potions they can buy for training. It also influences which mentor they choose. One more important thing to note is credits. In the University of Superpowers, credits are like money. Students can use credits to buy potions, skills, and equipment needed for training within the campus. Of course, they can also use Blue Star coins, but those usually buy old or useless items. On the Superpower University campus, credits are definitely more valuable than money, Lu Yuan thought quietly, lowering his head. In terms of what credits can buy, they already far surpass money. Suddenly, Lu Yuan remembered the special admission requirements of Deep City Superpower University. Didn't they also involve credits? He quickly sent a message to the admissions teacher, Ling Weiwei, on Q Messenger. Teacher Ling, when are the credits mentioned in the special admission conditions distributed? Ling Weiwei replied quickly. You probably already know about the freshman competition. The credits are given after the competition, since they depend on your performance. The competition is the best proof of your abilities. With this thought in mind, he opened the Deep University Mind app and clicked on the food delivery section. As soon as he entered, a variety of delicious foods appeared before his eyes. The pictures on the screen alone made his mouth water. Truly a top university. The food options are so diverse. Lu Yuan's eyes lit up as he couldn't help but praise. The many food choices made Lu Yuan a bit overwhelmed. In the end, he decided to order a simple, honest dish, braised chicken with rice. The delivery arrived quickly. While enjoying the meal, Lu Yuan also took the opportunity to browse the campus forum for tips and preparations needed for entering the portal to another world for the first time. These details weren't in the Guide for New Students Level 52, so Lu Yuan had to search specifically to find them. Everyone values their life, so generally, new students and those entering the underground world portal don't connect the two. But Lu Yuan was different. He had awakened a system to become stronger quickly. Entering the underground world portal and hunting fierce beasts, there was an unavoidable step. After a hearty meal, Lu Yuan left his dorm. His current goal was to visit the school's 7th rank Ice Element Master. It would be even better if the master was interested in taking him as a disciple. Ordinary students wouldn't be given special attention, It was similar to one-on-one tutoring with a private teacher. But becoming a disciple was different. That was about inheritance and learning real skills. The master's energy was limited, and training a disciple required countless efforts and resources. Nothing could be achieved overnight. From the information on the campus forum, Lu Yuan learned detailed details about the 7th rank ice element master at the school. His name was Qin Tianlong, 46 years old, awakened to an S-rank supernatural ability called 9 Nether Mystic Ice, with a 7th rank lower level cultivation. He was especially skilled in spear techniques and served as the dean of the Ice Element College at the school. Most importantly, he had created his own exclusive S-rank skill called Ice Explosion Technique. According to Ling Weiwei's notes, Lu Yuan already knew where Qin Tianlong lived on campus. Deep City Supernatural Ability University's campus was very large. Even riding a shared electric scooter took nearly half an hour. After about 20 minutes, Lu Yuan could already see Qin Tianlong's residence from afar. Like the students, the mentor's house is also a 2-story villa. The only difference is that students have a double room, while the mentor has a single room. After parking the shared electric scooter at a certain spot, Lu Yuan then walks to Qin Tianlong's house. As he approaches the villa's gate, a slightly older-looking senior with black-rimmed glasses walks over. The senior shakes his head and says, "First, Mentor Qin isn't here. You should go back." Lu Yuan immediately asks, "Who are you?" He has been riding the scooter for about 20 minutes. He can't just turn around because of what someone said. He needs to understand what's going on. The senior with glasses smiles slightly and introduces himself. "I'm Hu Dahai, a student of Mentor Qin's 51st class. You must be a new student recruited specially." "I am Lu Yuan, a new student of the 52nd class," Lu Yuan replies. Lu Yuan nods. He doesn't find it strange. Since the other person is Mentor Qin's student and hasn't seen him before, and now Lu Yuan is at the villa's gate, it makes sense to think he's a new student recruited specially. Hu Dahai's face shows surprise as he continues. "Then you must have awakened at least an S-grade ice-type ability." "Yes, I awakened the S-grade ice ability called Ice Crown," Lu Yuan confirms. Lu Yuan nods slightly. He quickly activates his ability, and a cold aura bursts from his body. Above his head, a crown made of ice and snow quietly appears. "That's great. Our school hasn't had an S-grade ice ability awakener in many years. Mentor Qin will definitely choose you, and there's even a chance he might take you as a disciple." Hu Dahai pats Lu Yuan's shoulder and laughs cheerfully, acting very friendly. Then he changes the subject. "It's a pity, though. Mentor Qin left a few days ago to the underground world passage in the province. According to the butler at the gate, he probably won't return for about a week. Then I'll come back in a week," Lu Yuan says, turning his head to leave. But Hu Dahai kindly says, "Since you're my future junior brother, and I have some free time now, how about I take you for a tour around Shin University? You just arrived today, right?" Lu Yuan nods slightly, indicating he's okay with that. Upon arriving for the first time, it's not good to be unfamiliar with the way. You can't just keep staring at the map all the time. After visiting a few well-known places, Hu Dahai suddenly said to Lu Yuan, "You know, the eldest daughter of the Xia family was specially recruited to our school, and she's in the same class as you." The Xia family. The eldest daughter. Lu Yuan fell into deep thought. For some reason, he suddenly thought of the girl in the dorm across from him. At that time, she had a dragon-like companion beast on her shoulder, which suggests her family background must be quite strong. So, is the Xia family's eldest daughter that girl? The Xia family is a pretty big family in Guangdong province. The family head is a 7th rank high-level master, even higher than Professor Qin by 2 small levels. Seeing Lu Yuan's surprised look, Hu Dahai thought he didn't know what the Xia family was, so he explained further. Hu Dahai looked serious and said earnestly, "Lu Jr., it seems the competition for the new students' tournament this year will be very fierce." Lu Yuan remained calm. After experiencing the wonders of the system, Lu Yuan knew that as long as he had enough evolution points, he would be invincible. Hu Dahai teased him a bit more, saying, "But the eldest daughter of the Xia family is also very beautiful. I think you look quite handsome, Lu Jr. If you could be her boyfriend, wouldn't that be an easy win?" Lu Yuan didn't reply, not sure what he was thinking at this moment. Suddenly, Lu Yuan tentatively asked, "Senior Hu, can you take me into the underground world channel inside the school?" Lu Yuan knew that the first time entering the underground world channel, he needed someone to guide him. But Hu Dahai was just his senior and had no obligation to help him. So he was just testing the waters. Lu Yuan asked again, what were the freshman competitions like before? Hu Dahai replied, it was like a tournament. 2 people fought, and the winner moved on to the next round. After hearing this, a faint smile appeared on Lu Yuan's face. If the competition really took place in the underground area of the school, as Hu Dahai guessed, then he would have a bit of an advantage. Oh right, the task center is just ahead. Want to take a look? Hu Dahai slowed his pace and asked. The task center? Of course. Lu Yuan nodded. A few hours earlier, Lu Yuan had already heard about the task center from Jiang Yan. Now that Hu Dahai mentioned it again, his curiosity grew. 5 minutes later, the two arrived at the entrance of the task center. Inside, the large room was neatly arranged with dozens of task screens and about 10 task submission counters. These are the task screens where you can choose tasks, Hu Dahai explained, pointing. And over there are the submission counters. You just hand in the proof of your completed task for verification. Then, they walked up to one of the task screens. The screen was dark. There were no buttons on it, and Lu Yuan frowned, unsure how to turn it on. Seeing this, Hu Dahai chuckled. He took out his student ID card and tapped it against the screen. With a soft beep, the screen lit up. Lu Yuan suddenly understood. It needed a card to activate. The screen displayed many types of tasks, ranked by difficulty: D, C, B, A, S, and SS.